Moving to the next panel session, number 4, I think more than me, Revati would be the better person to go ahead and introduce all the panel members. Over to you, Revati.
Hello, everyone. The next topic is the Visionary Boardroom, how women are redefining leadership and corporate governance. Today's conversation will shine a light on a powerful shift that is happening in the boardrooms across the world. As more women take their place at the decision-making table, more inclusive, more empathetic, and more future-focused. This is about redefining how governance works and how organizations grow. It's us women shaping strategy, culture, and corporate responsibilities in profound ways. With that, it is my honor to welcome our visionary panelists. Firstly, Ms. Madhavi Chandrashekar. She is director. She is director of ACE Designers. She is a computer engineer by education and an experienced ma'am, please. Yeah, sure. Business development professional with a demonstrated history of working in the machinery industry. She is skilled in strategic planning, marketing strategy, database, and digital marketing. She is also a strong sales professional. I welcome you, ma'am. Our next visionary is Ms. Varsha Agarwal, co-founder and CEO of BodiQ. She has 25 years experience with MNCs like VMware and Sapient. Ms. Varsha specializes in consulting industry-ready upskilling, including generative AI and agentic AI, alongside essential workplace and leadership developments. A mentor, trainer, and philanthropist, she has conducted 70+ workshops, positively impacting 2,000+ lives. That's impressive, ma'am. It's a pleasure to welcome you. Our next achiever is Ms. Amulya Raghunath. ನೀವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ. Our next achiever is Ms. Amulya Raghunath, Head Brand Marketing and Digital Solutions at Gift Links India Private Limited. She is an enthusiastic second-generation women business driver of the company founded by her mother, Mrs. Kamala Raghunath, in 1991. Over the years, the company has grown to service global brands in corporate gifting and promotional merchandise. Amulya holds master's degree from Leeds Business School, UK, and her immense learning as a professional international tennis player drives her to face challenges head-on as an achiever. Where is she?
She's just coming.
She's on the way? Oh, okay. Okay, we'll welcome her later. Ms. Juhi Santani, principal designer and retail design consultant and founder of Retail Design. She has 24 years of experience. She has advised nearly 200 global brands in India and Middle East, from Starbucks to Blue Turquoise to Excite and Blue Star. Ms. Santani's forte is understanding the Indian consumer behavior and translating those insights into profitable, impactful brands. She will be sharing her perspective as a moderator and a panelist on the topic, the Visionary Boardroom. Welcome, Amulya.
Thank you, sorry. So can we have a round of applause for everyone who's got women on their boards? First round of applause for women founders, always. I know it's a little skewed in this room. We don't always find these numbers elsewhere, but it's all amazing that we all have been running our own businesses, and it's always a matter of pride for us. So I'm going to start with some data before I jump in and invite our panelists to share their thoughts, right? So I think we all know about the Companies Act Amendment of 2013, right? When the government mandated that every board must have, especially the Nifty 500s definitely have followed that policy, that boards are required to have women on as part of their board constitution, right? Before that, we looked at this abysmal data. There were about 6% or fewer women on the board before that, right? So courtesy, this amendment, some changes have happened. And I'd love to hear from our panelists how those changes have really panned out, right? Now we're looking at about 20-21% of women on the boards, and yet it is more compliance driven. Would you say that? That having women on the boards has been essentially compliance driven. And here today we want to have a conversation more around what difference we are making to these boards, right? As women, what is the kind of contribution that women are actually making, and how do we do more and more of that? But before I really get on to that, I'd like to get everybody's opinion on how does one prepare to get in a boardroom? Do you think you'd like to know that? Like for some of you, how does one really prepare to get into the boardroom? And I'd love to hear thoughts from each one of you. Varsha, would you like to begin?
First of all, yeah, great to be here in front of so many women entrepreneurs, which is there. As you have heard, I have a lot of corporate background, and then after that, I am an entrepreneur now. So I'll share the perspective from my experience, actually. See, first thing, what has worked for me is I was working in many different business functions. So I did not stick to, in all my 25 years and in 2 organizations, I did not stick to one particular domain at all. I have worked in sales, marketing, customer-centric, HR, TA. I was heading global DEI. And I've also worked in finance, procurement. So knowing where I would like to go, I was preparing myself by working in different business functions, because when we are sitting in the board, we can't just know about one particular thing. We have to know the entire business spectrum, which is across business functions. And that experience helped me a lot in order to get, because now I advise multiple startups and I am sitting on the board of some organizations. So that experience has definitely helped me a lot. But apart from that, apart from the practical hands-on experience, one other thing which I would definitely say is learning is, the formal learning definitely helps a lot. And there is right now, there is independent director course which is getting offered from multiple, and it's quite flexible. So I definitely look, and that's a structured learning which actually definitely helps a lot. The third thing which I would say is at times we don't talk about what our vision is for ourselves, what we would like to achieve, where we would like to go. So unless and until we talk about our ambitions, unless and until we talk about that, hey, this is something which we would like to do, how people will give us those opportunities? So it's very important for us to make sure that we are talking about what we are looking for, what we want, so that others know and they can either mentor us, coach us, they can prepare, they can provide us those opportunities. Because the one thing which we would say, right, that the clarity plus the visibility is equal to sponsorship. And I totally believe in that. If you're visible, if you're building your brand, if you're communicating what you're looking for, then that is something where people will give you a lot of opportunities, plus they will sponsor you also. How many of you have sponsors? And I'm not talking about the sponsors for the funds or for investors. How many of you have sponsors who can speak about you in a room when you are not there? How many of you have that sponsors? Yeah. So it's very important. See, we actually get a lot of investors, we get a lot of mentors, but how many of us look for sponsors who can talk good about us, about our business, the value which we have add to ourselves, to our businesses, and so on and so forth. So that's also very important. But that will happen only when people know what we are looking forward to do. So that is something which, as an individual, we have to prepare. But the other thing which I would also say is that it's not only enough for us as an individual to prepare ourselves, is organizations also have to prepare to have more, I think, women on board, and that is specifically for women. The first section applies to both, but the second section is, as you mentioned, the number of women in the board has increased quite a lot in the previous years. But which is a great news, by the way. But the one thing which we see is one woman is tokenism. It is happening because of compliance. Where is the transformation? We need to look for transformation, and the real transformation happens when there are more women on the board, more women in the room. So I think Juhi asked, how many of you have more than one woman in your board? We have seen less hands, right? So what happens when there is only one single woman on the board? It gets stereotyped. You are here because of compliance. You are here because of numbers. And that's why we say, right, 3 is a transformation, 1 is a tokenism. So we need to have more women on the board. And how can we do that is we need to make sure that the organization have proper board readiness programs. In my previous organization, we used to have this program. For 5 days, we could shadow an executive. For 5 days, we could shadow an executive completely. And that learning which we have got was so immense that no course can fulfill that. And I see one more organization. Anybody knows Randstand here? Yeah, see? So Randstand has this, right? You can shadow the CEO for a day. Right? They sit on the CEO chair, they attend all the meetings, they participate in the strategy. That kind of learning give us immense opportunity to be a CEO, a CF, or whatever we want to be and be on the board. So those kind of opportunities we need to provide in order for us to prepare.
We're going to take a short break because before I hand the mic over to Madhavi, I think there is a small opportunity. Yeah, please.
Morning, we did have few of the award sessions where our dignitaries and the award days were not present. So they are here, and it's their flight time within next 3 to 4 hours. So I would request we would just take not more than 3 to 4 minutes. Well, Saujanya Kalakuri, Associate Director, Singapore ETH Center. We would like to request you to come on stage and receive the award. I know it was a good food. I would request all the committee members and also the panel members to be the part of the ceremony. Congratulations, Saujanya. Congratulations. I would like to call Jyotirmaya Mohanty, founder and CEO, Neo in PTE Limited. I hope I pronounced it right. It's Neoin. Neon. Okay. I is silent then. Okay. Congratulations, Jyotirmaya Mohanty, for your achievements. He has received the Ex-Indian Diaspora Excellence Award. Congratulations to both of you, and thank you so much for the panelist members for having the patience. Yes, now we continue with our panel discussion.
Thank you. So we are back at what is that one quality that you would seek in somebody, or what we need to find in ourselves before we wish to join a board? What would you recommend, Madhavi?
I think one, if you talk about the single most requirement to be on the board is training. First of all, it's very important for us to understand that the board is primarily the board is supposed to be the guiding light of the organization in terms of governance and strategy. And the board is also responsible to make sure that the business outcomes are reviewed and audited on a timely basis to make sure that the business is doing well, and if there is a need for course correction, then the board is responsible to enable that course correction as well. So I would say, in terms of for a person to be on the board, that individual, whether it is a man or woman, needs to first of all be completely aware and trained on the governance requirements of a company, and that person should be able to understand the financial aspects of the company in, in the broad, at least the P&L and the balance sheet, and the basic financial management of the company. They should have training in that. And also, I believe strategy. Again, there are a lot of boards which more and more we are seeing that boards are getting involved in the strategy formulation of organizations. So to understand the business model of the business that you're on the board of, and to understand tools and concepts that help in strategy formulation, I think is very important.
Like that. Thank you, Madhvi. Amulya, as our youngest member on the panel, what are your thoughts?
So I was going to say, I always start with a disclaimer that I probably my experience is way less than everyone. I mean, not even put like anyone on this stage and in the room. But I think the perspective I will come from is maybe from two different perspectives. One is trying to get to a board or get to a leadership position where I'm leading a team. But also maybe, if I can say, my mother might, cough a little bit, but maybe next generation a little bit of how. But first, I want to say that because of women, many who are in this room that have set the standards, broken that glass ceiling, broken some of those myths that are there, our generation can do a lot more now and dream little more of getting into those boards. So I would say thank you to everyone here and all the women previously who have really put in that extra effort so that we can have it a little bit more easy. But what I would say, and from the board's perspective, is I think the journey to get to the board in most instances is longer than the time you would spend on the board. So maybe if there are certain things that are put into place for you to have during that journey, if you can identify, I don't know if everyone can identify from a very early stage that this person could be capable of joining a board, but all the things that we spoke about, training, compliance, all of that, if that could be trained initially, yeah, along the way, yes, because sometimes after you get to a certain point, the amount you will absorb, or you're already fixed in the ways of your working. So maybe from an earlier stage, if you can start grooming or training. We've also talked about succession, of how important it is maybe to start succession earlier, because sometimes in a succession sort of format, yes, you're part of the process from the beginning, but you don't know how serious it is. At least in my case, switched off. Where is that point where I'm actually getting serious? Where is my voice actually starting to get heard? So till that point, why wait till that point? So if you can start earlier in that grooming process, that's what I can say where I am right now. Yeah.
I think that's a lovely idea. I mean, when we put together what all three of you have said, that, the way we empower more people, I mean, we are still not talking about women here, the way we empower our team members and allow them to shadow senior leadership, create opportunities for leadership early on, and then really that way maybe we will be spoiled for choice for our boards, while right now I think we all struggle, right? So even if you do not have a board yet, or you're looking at having a board in some time, maybe it's time for all of us to self-reflect, that who are the people on our teams that we get them to shadow us, to if we are women leaders already, or if we are leaders already, how do we get them to shadow, understand strategy, like you're saying, Madhavi, so critical for growth. So shadowing, strategy, and really planning upfront. So thank you so much. I thought those were lovely insights. And then I'm going to move on to our next question. That now we're talking about women on board, right? And we just spoke about financial understanding, knowing P&Ls and everything, strategy, corporate governance, even, understanding how sales can really work, right, for an organization. So what would you say, do you think, in your experience, it has made sense, financial sense, for an organization to especially have women on board? Like, not tokenism, but I have read several studies where organizations have been able to prove, there's some kind of a statistic, that where women are on board beyond tokenism, like you said, 3 is momentum, right? There are organizations which have been able to demonstrate an almost 40% improvement on their financial performance. Would you agree? And what would be your thoughts be about something like that? What do you think could be the triggers of having not just women, but diversity, but focused on women on board? What are your thoughts, Madhavi?
So from my understanding, because men and women are wired differently, I think areas that I feel women can contribute differently from men are one in risk assessment. I believe women are more perceptive to risks. This is what is my understanding and what I have also read about. And the other area is, I think, EQ, that the emotional quotient of women is different. I wouldn't say better or worse, but we are different, wired differently. So especially in the area of building HR strategies, or even for that matter, in corporate social responsibility. In those areas, I think women will bring in a different perspective, and how that would affect finances is also on, where do you want to invest your capital. So bringing in that emotional, social responsibility angle towards your financial decisions will, I guess, have a different flavor if women are involved.
So are you saying that, because we build better organizations, more well-rounded organizations,
Absolutely.
eventually it is leading us, which is can sometimes be intuitive, right? That, a lot of times we as organizations think that I should not be spending on people so much,
Right.
or I should not be spending on, the softer aspects of running an organization, and let's be more hard-nosed about money. But you are saying that the more we invest, we're building a better organization, and that's what is leading us to better
Absolutely.
better
Absolutely.
financial performance?
Yes, absolutely.
Great, thank
Yeah,
you. Varsha, what are your thoughts?
So I think, first of all, I completely agree to what Madhavi and you have mentioned. The stats which you have mentioned, right? Actually, it is from McKinsey and Big Fours, which you said, and I completely align to that. If there are more women on board, if there is more, if the gender diversity is on the first quartile in the women on board, it actually drives 25 to 30% better profitability. That is proven from Big Four. It's not something which is a made up stats. So it's not only something that we should have women because of the compliance. Actually, it is driving much better profitability and better, risk management. So those two aspects are much proven. But how does it happen? I mean, why does it happen? Because one thing is, there is somebody to question the group thinking. Because as Madhavi said, right, we are wired differently. We think in certain aspects, I mean, better. Men think certain aspects a lot better. But so there is somebody to question that group thinking. Then there is a true representation of 50% of the customer base, right? 50% almost in most of the countries, right? 50% of women. So that's our target customer. And if there is no representation, who is going to talk about that? And not only customers, employees also. There could be 50%, 40% could be employees. Where is the representation for that? So when we get more women on board, when we get more gender diversity, there is true representation. And obviously the product improves, hence the profitability improves. That one more thing which I would say is, how do we get there? Actually, right? There is also, so when improvement of the profitability is one thing, and improvement of the gender diversity is one thing, right? But when Madhavi spoke about emotional intelligence, we spoke about people-centric. How does it happen in today's, I mean, scenarios, especially after the COVID, employees and customers both are looking for purpose-driven businesses. They are investing a lot more, they are buying a lot more, they are joining and staying in the organization in those where there is a purpose-driven performance. And there is care for people, there is care for employees. They say, right, the people say, now I would like to join an organization and I would stay in an organization where I feel I am taken care. And we say, right, if you take care of your people, they will take care of the organization. The one last thing I would say, one example actually, which is very, very close to my heart, which is, anybody heard of Kalpana Saroj? Right, yeah, that example is so close to my heart. She joined Kamani Tubes, right, when it was 170 court cases, 116 crore debt. The salary and PF of the employees is not paid at all. And she say very openly, my capital is my people. She she built people-centric organization, empathetic leadership, people-driven organization. And we turn around the company completely, and it's a profitable organization right now. That's what women bring into the table.
Totally. I mean, good women leaders, that's what they bring to the table. And like you said, are we building organizations that are young generation wants to work for? They are our future workforce. And how many of us look at the Gen Z with a frustrated shrug? How many of us? Yet, these are the future of our organizations. If you're looking at longevity of what we are building, it is but natural for us to think about the generations that are coming after us, right? But let's not talk about the generations that are coming after us. Let's talk about the two business owners that we have who are second generation. So I'm going to ask Amulya that how do women, you know, when they are part of the ownership of an organization, you know, how do they specifically make a difference? You know, what do you think is the leadership style that's unique to women? And I'd like your perspective specifically in terms of, you know, the boardroom that we're talking about here.
Okay, so sorry. For me, GiftLink, so the company that my mother built, has been a part of my life. So I was born into it. So it's not something separate from me. So it started in our house. So it's intrinsically part of me, and I think that made such a big difference also in the way I look at the business. And for a lot of second generation, third, whatever generational businesses, that is how it is. And I think that the value of the business is built in. And that brings in the kind of sentimental value that has gone into it. What all my mother has seen, done, what I've heard, at least what she shared, is a part of me. Definitely the passion that she brings to the organization is very different from the passion I will bring, because my experiences are different, but I understand the passion that she has gone through. So I think that will really make a difference. And the one value I know that at GiftLinks it is that it's our people, what we were talking about. So our people have always been the driving force, and that's something I want to continue doing. And if there was another person who joined in to take over, I don't know if they would understand that importance, the people that we have. So those are the things I think I would come with into the business. But also, if we want to grow the business, I think it's important to understand the history of the business. So what have we done so far, and then what can we do more? So I think I understand the capabilities, understand the people, understand the history. So hopefully that is going to come in handy and help us grow into the next stage.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Madhavi, what do you think?
See, I joined the business, the business that my father and his partners founded. The first thing is, I think, there is an intrinsic sense of responsibility that we have when you are a second generation uh, business driver like Amulya.
Yes,
That's a
that's such a
very
lovely
nice
term,
term.
right?
Yeah,
Business driver.
yeah, business driver. Because actually, incidentally, Amulya told us about that, and I thought it really it resonated with the fact that we may not be entrepreneurs, but we are responsible to ensure that the business continues to grow. One is the sense of responsibility and the sense of ownership that we have, not in terms of shareholding, but in terms of we need to do what it takes to make the business grow and sustain. Um, One challenge that I found in my entire time working in my father's company was to establish my own credibility. So you need to bring something unique to the table into the business that makes people stand up and look at you. You need to own your voice. You need to get some different perspective, and that can be done if you have experience outside. So as a second gen, I think it's very important that you should get out and see what the world is like, get work experience outside, and then only join your business.
So that's like really interesting, right? What Madhvi is saying is that for a second generation business driver, to really have a sense of history and ownership is not enough, but it's the kind of exposure that the outside world gives you, and it's that wealth of new knowledge and experience that you bring back to the family business and really add on to that, right? And build on that kind of leadership. And there's this interesting statistic again that I read about that it's when it's not just the family, in a family owned business, it's not just the women from the family who are sitting on the board, but when it goes beyond more women who sit on family-owned businesses, the boards of family-owned businesses, that's when we're talking about the momentum that comes in. So, right, a family brings a sense of ownership. So if you have a family board where you're the only woman or the only women on that board are from the ownership family, from the owning family, do consider that you want a different perspective, which is beyond your ownership perspective, right? Which is a little more neutral and which is more towards corporate governance. So that's a thought that the statistic that I was talking about is that it's not just which is, by the way, a great trend, that more and more women from owner families are sitting on boards. It's become so much more natural in our generation as against it used to be in the past, right? I think 20 years and things have changed so much. But I think the next momentum shall come from women who have grown within that organization or elsewhere, and they bring their external knowledge and wealth of information to the boards, right? So thank you so much. I mean, that is a lovely perspective. And while I don't know how much time do we have? Do we have time for a couple of questions? Another 5 to 10 minutes. So then we're just going to make this like really fast. What is that one quality that women can inculcate to be on a board? Just one quality. Just to be on the board, leave alone the matter of a board, it's just plain leadership, right? Because being on a board is a natural, what do I say? a follow-up on the fact that you think like a leader, right? So what's that one quality you would want somebody to think? Madhavi, you can begin and then pass on the mic.
Um, Pardon me, but I just looked at my answer because I didn't want to miss the punch word. But the actual the one quality is I would say is confidence. I think when you feel and you make yourself uh, confident to voice your opinion, to think with clarity, and to make a difference, I think that's when you'll be able to make a big impact on the board.
Thank you. Amulya.
So I think one of the lessons I've learned from my mother is that sorry, we compete as an organization that is competent and can really give you the quality that you need. Being a woman owned or a woman running the business is just an added benefit. So having that confidence that I'm going to do it just like anyone else, like you said, confidence, and having those additional qualities of a woman is just, going to give you that extra edge. So I think that sort of confidence. But also with that confidence, one of the things I am really trying to inculcate is being able to speak about my achievements and my qualities and what I can do. So as women, I think we underplay ourselves. So maybe being able to talk about ourselves a little more and our capabilities will really help, because I think especially in this day and age, the louder you are, the more attention you get. So I think that's what I'm learning, because I'm not a very loud person. But yeah, I think that's something I would say.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah.
So I think they have summed it up. Apart from confidence and competent, Amulya have already mentioned, I would say strategic self-advocacy. So we can remember this particular term, strategic self-advocacy. But yeah, why? Because, I mean, traditionally, right, when we are talking about ourselves, if you are asking for help, we are seen as weak. If you are asking for, if you are talking about our ambitions, we are seen as aggressive. If we are talking about what we have achieved, we are seen as egoistic, right? But we should chuck all those things and then just talk about what's our ambition, what we are trying to achieve, what we have already achieved, and then what is the support system we need in order to make all that happen. Not underdo, not overdo, but be very strategic with whom. I mean, here, right, when, whom, how matters a lot. And that's when it becomes strategic self-advocacy. Okay, and not only talking about ourselves, but do it strategically and be very articulative, right? Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think being articulated is such an important part, where we are able to communicate what we stand for with confidence, right? And the one thing that you were talking about yesterday, Madhavi, domain expertise. Yes, be known for something, be special, be confident enough to be known for something and really be an expert in that. And that's our path to not just leadership, but certainly to a board as well. So power to all the women here for adding more women on their boards and being added onto multiple boards themselves. Thank you so much. So, do we have time for questions?
It was a wonderful session. First of all, thank you, ladies out there on the stage. One very important question, probably I'll be representing most of the women here. See, there is a big pool of talent which is available in the world of MSCs. So when we are looking at the corporate world, it mostly looks at, when we are looking at independent directors, it mostly looks at the women who have experience in corporate world and mostly the finance sector and things like that. That's my understanding. But there's a whole lot of talent which is there in the MSc pool, which is definitely complementing what is required for the corporate. So I guess there should be some kind of a collaborative program the corporate should run to find that kind of women, groom them, and then make use of their talents on the board. Thank you.
Some companies have started doing that. I missed the introduction, sorry, but then I was working with EY for 7 years before, and I know they have a lot of, some of these programs that help either identify women who can come onto the board or, whether they can come into the organization. So I know there's traction happening. Maybe it'll take time, but I know that.
First of all, the people who actually want to get into, so there are a lot of avenues. First is there is independent directors, I think, program which we can take, which actually provides spectrum across domains, and they will actually put you on the board for certain, and it can be a shadow program or it can be a true, I mean, again, depending on the experience, depending on the interest also. So that can be a starting point. The other thing which I would say is that many people I see who are not actually around 18, 20 years of experience, but they are doing startup advisory, okay? Because say, for example, it could not be across functions. Say if they are so good in product management, they are doing, they are advising startups to build products better. If they are good in finance, they are actually helping with the P&L, helping with, and if somebody is so good in with investors, they are talking and they are helping startups with the pitches and with, I mean, talking to the investors. And when they are talking and I mean, when they are helping to the startups, right, they actually get the entire holistic experience, because startups have only very few people, and that's when we actually gain experience a lot to come onto the board. So apart from, definitely, I know a bunch of organizations are actually sponsoring also.
If there are any links or any such kind of information available, so that will be useful for many of the women who are looking for that kind of place on the boards, which it could be mutually beneficial.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. But summing up, while we have a wealth of knowledge and experience, how in the last bit our panelists said that, really building your own visibility and getting out there and speaking with confidence and telling people that this is what I'm capable of. And like you said, engaging in the startup ecosystem, because they are looking for experience like ours, where we've already run businesses and bring, a lot of insightful observations, I'm sure. So yes, sure, why not?
Yeah, I think, that will be complementing it. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I would love to thank these special women here who've given us great insights on this, and let today be at least a seed of thought in your heads about how we can make this happen much more for not just our generation, but more women leaders who are coming after us. Yeah, thank you so much.
And thank you for the insightful discussion. As an entrepreneur myself, I could resonate with what all you were saying. And I'll remember the line: strategic self-advocacy. Correct? Yeah. So probably we'll all remember that. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the panelists and also the moderator. I would like to call Aarti, founder and director, Hasirotsava Forum. Aarti. Congratulations, Aarti. The next person to receive the award is Chinnamma C. Seenu Supershine. Chinnamma C. Captain Malini, Vayuyana Aerospace. Congratulations, Malini. Congratulations, Malini. I would like to invite Dr. Vivek Trivedi. Dr. Vivek Trivedi, Yes, sir. Okay, I forgot. Vivek Trivedi ji. Thank you so much for being here, respecting our invite and being there for us. It's an honor and pleasure to have you here with us, sir. Congratulations once again. Right. Now, I would like to call on stage Deepthi Natarajan, the co-founder of the Bodhi Tree. Deepthi Natarajan. Okay. Indira Gowda C. Indira Foods. Ma'am, it's an honor and the pleasure to call your name. We would like to have you on stage. Guys, let's have a huge round of applause.
I would like to add one thing here. Indra ma'am started her entrepreneurial journey with Awake. She was the first incubator of Awake way long back when Awake was started.
She is one of my inspiration too. Congratulations, ma'am. Next, we would like to invite on stage Lata Vasisht, the chairperson of Adya A-Tech. Lata Vasisht, we request you to come on stage and receive the award. Because it's 4, I think we are out of the insulin capsule which our body is taking now. So let's have a huge round of applause. Congratulations, Lata. The next on stage we wanted to invite Nanda Prasad, the founder, Help Educate a Child. Mr. Nanda Prasad. Padmini Gowda, Managing Director, Farm Pal Vermicompost Private Limited. Congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you so much, our moderator and the panelists, for being here and giving such an insightful discussion thought process. It's our appreciation, a small appreciation and the token of love. We had that reel. Is that?